overall is lapping ever so slightly quicker than the cars in front. Oh, and we've got a situation out on track with the number 160 pulling off. It's the KTM, Van der Laden at the wheel, and that is quite a conflagration now. The rear of the car,
Arenberg
completely corner, engulfed in flames. Now remember, the mid-engine cars, Marshall just getting to assist in trying to put out that fire, and course vehicles already there going for the fire extinguishers. We've got a fire extinguisher on the car, clamshell opening on this car, and the fire very swiftly put out.
Extraordinary efficient.
No, not quite. The car rolling forward, I'm not sure why, out of the reach of the marshals now.
Felix out of the car then? He's already clambered out, and now the car
is...
Oh, he's trying to get back on board to leap on the brakes, but it's already accelerating away from him and down into Adenauer Forst. It's going to disappear into the foxhole and still a light. So how do the marshals deal with this? Because we've got a car that is now on fire, rolling down the road, and this is one of the steepest parts of the circuit. You couldn't really make this up, guys.
No.
It's now stopped because it's smacked into the barrier on the left, but that set alight some of the grass, I think, or maybe a component of the car.
Which has come off it, yeah.
Electronic gear selection, he would not have been able to get that car into a gear to lock it off.
This is a horrendous situation. Thankfully, more marshals are now on the scene, and they have sensibly parked an intervention vehicle right across where the KTM has come to rest. Felix van der Laden did absolutely everything he could do there, but the last thing you want to do is to be leaping into a car that's moving and on fire to try and stop it rolling down into the foxhole.
They've really did a cracking job on putting that out. Carbon tub, of course, and carbon does burn very well, doesn't it? And we saw that. Quite extraordinary, that, Johnny. I don't think I've ever seen that
in my life. No.
Car rolling away downhill, and thankfully coming to rest and stopping itself against the barrier. That could have been really naughty.
Incredible response time there for the fire unit that has just arrived on scene, though. The red truck just beyond the KTM, now with the correct... they were using the correct extinguishant a little while ago, too, but now even more extinguishant being applied. Initially, I thought the KTM might be able to get back into the race because the fire was put out so quickly, but now the front section had started to take light as well.
Well, the problem was the KTM did want to get back into the race.
So much.
Sans driver. That was the issue.
Yeah.
And you guys, you're just ganging up on me. I was about to say at the time there was a code 120 for a Toyota GT86 at Brunchen, and I just got it all up in detail. And you come in with there's a car on fire without a driver in it, and it's rolling down the track. I can't beat that. I'm sorry.
This place just has a habit of putting.
No, you too. There's a car on fire without a driver in it, and it's rolling down the track. I can't beat that. I'm sorry.
This place just has a habit of putting something else in the way of drivers in this that you have never seen before. And had an entertaining evening yesterday watching several bloopers of various crashes on a well-known streaming service. I have a feeling, Snowy...
Other platforms are available.
Well, I didn't mention it.
No.
I have a feeling in the next week or so that might be joining it.
I have a vague recollection of a BMW under its own power ending up in... Oh, no. Did the driver hit the entry to the pit? He just missed the pit entrance.
It was a BMW.
And went straight on into the pit.
Yeah. So the KTM of Teichmann Racing, by the way, the class leader in Cup X, already on fire heading towards Schwedenkreuz. Those following, thought they could overtake. There was a Porsche trying to get by there before the KTM then slew to the right. And Felix van der Laden doing exactly as he should to pick out a marshal post so that they could put the fire out as quickly as possible. From a driving point of view, I think you're always torn, wanting to put it into a safe place, but equally wanting to just get out of the car as quickly as possible because you don't know how much that fire is going to stretch by. Does the clamshell help or not? Because you really want just a conventional door to open and roll out, whereas the canopy needs to be lifted up and away from the car, and it's always going to be a bit of an awkward exit from one of these cars that are built in Austria.
It seems that when the driver had taken his foot off the brake to get out, that's when the car started to roll away. And thankfully, I mean, the driver, bless him, he's trying to hang on to the car and try to stop it, and then he simply can't.
Yeah.
Most extraordinary scenes here, and it's really steep, that hill, isn't it?
It is.
Which is why it picked up speed so easily. Mercifully, it did go across to the right-hand side of the track, very narrow strip of grass there, and it actually clattered off the wall hard enough to turn it 90 degrees left, which, okay, it's damaged the car, but it's nearly taken out a Porsche on the way. A Cayman just gone through thinking there's a car there on fire and it's coming across the track. There's no driver in it at this point. Depending on how the roll cage and system works in that, the safety side of that car, but I would imagine the canopy could be an advantage because it's a much bigger aperture.
True.
In terms of the door, but then again, inside that door, the doors there really are just access panels. Once you get inside, you've got a whole passenger cell, safety cell, so it actually could be utterly irrelevant if it's got a tiny little bit between roll hoops and whatever. It doesn't matter how much the canopy works. But
well,
the most extraordinary scenes I've probably ever seen in a race, to be honest.
Yeah.
But everybody's fine, but the car isn't, and unfortunately that's